Good morning and welcome to my new session on economics chit chat. In this session, I'm going to talk about the economics of self-reliance altogether. The concept of self-reliance is quite been a very important topic that is being talked over across our country. Everybody is talking about Atmanirbhar plan, how to make India more self-reliant. And it matters a lot. Why? Because this juncture, we are talking about making our country a self-sufficient country, a country which can make ourselves proud. Now, what is the biggest challenge of being self-reliant? If you look at the economics behind it, it is not just about the land, labor, capital, or technology or the organization. It is about the factor called research and development. India is a country where we have not given much of emphasis towards research and development. So it becomes very important for all of us to understand the concept of research and development. What we have believed in our system, especially in our education system, is that getting a doctorate degree or doing a PhD is just an apex of your career. So once you have completed your PhD, you're very happy about this factor that I'm going to be called as doctorate. I'm going to be given that title. I'm going to be called as doctor so and so. And there ends our thought process. There ends our career. Why? Because we are happy with the hike in salary, or we are happy with the post that we are going to get. But this is the challenge that a country like us needs to know. If we are producing 1,000 doctorates per year, what is the output of those 1,000 doctorates? Where is the quality of research output really being utilized? If I submit a thesis and I get awarded as a doctorate today, it doesn't mean that I have achieved something great. It's only a title that I have earned. Like earning any other degree, I have done a research, I have submitted my thesis. Yes, I have earned a title called as doctorate. But what is the impact of my research towards the country? That's very important for us to know right now. Now, in the current scenario, why this matters is that with the Chinese apps getting banned, Chinese smartphones, Chinese gadgets, everything getting banned, it is the right time for India that we become self-reliant in the manufacturing sector, especially towards the technology, electronic components. But what happens in our country is that we have always been dependent on technology towards the foreign brands. Let it be Samsung, let it be Redmi, or let it be any other phones like Nokia or Apple or any kind of technology that we have been reliant on. Still now, India does not have a brand on its own which can be globally recognized. The reason for this is that we have not spent much of time, much of our quality research and development into practical use of developing something that can be credible to the world. We are theoretically super good, but practically we have not implemented it into the manufacturing sector and seen a fantastic product coming out. So in order to become Atmanirbhar, in order to become self-reliant, this is the time for all our doctorates, for all our research scholars to come up with their best output, to come up with their best ideas so that that can be implemented in the manufacturing sector and that can be used for the future technologies to come up. The question of becoming self-reliant is not just from having a financial package or from a support from the government. It is more about sustaining yourself for the coming years. So when you have the technology, when you have the people, and when you have the knowledge, the implementation is the only part that is lacking in India. So this is the right time where we need to start thinking, how can we develop a smartphone with an Indian brand on it? How can we develop a television out of our own technology? How can we develop a communication app with our own technology? So this is the right time where we have to self-rely on our knowledge, self-rely on our research. This is not a time where we start just thinking about banning and staying quiet. Because by banning something, we are not achieving anything. If we have to become self-reliant, we have to create ourselves. We have to redo, we have to build ourselves in such a manner that we are able to sustain for the years to come. So be it in healthcare, be it in communication, be it in manufacturing, supply chain, logistics, whatever sector we are talking about, we need to become self-reliant. We need to start thinking new ways, new methods through which we become the number one nation and we are not dependent on technology for any other country altogether. Now, some years or some months back, we were also speaking about the introduction of bullet train in India, for which we had signed a pact or a treaty with Japan. Now, if you look into India, probably India has the largest railway system in the world. But still now, we were not able to produce a bullet train, or we were not able to produce the most technically advanced railway system. The reason being is that we were just dependent on countries to imply their technology on us. We were just manufacturing coaches and coaches, engine after engine, but we didn't spend time in improving it and making it better, from better to best. So this is the time. Now, if you see that, the railways will have a great time to think, to reinvent themselves. What would be the best way to run the system going forward? This 3 months of break because of Corona would be the right time for railways to reinvent themselves, to think how they can produce better, faster, efficient systems that can reduce the traffic, that can reduce the cost, and that can also reduce the travel time altogether. Similarly, if you look into the sectors of healthcare, sectors of education, or sectors of high-tech communication, all these areas are emerging areas for India. The rural sector, the agriculture sector, these are all very, very important. Why? Because this is a time to reinvent ourselves. There is no point in going back and fighting over with other countries and proving that we are patriotic. We are definitely patriotic. There's no doubt about it. Every citizen definitely loves his country. But the way to show patriotism is by becoming self-reliant, is by showing that I am equally capable of proving myself the best in the world. So anywhere where you find an opportunity, please start utilizing the opportunity to bring an impact towards your ideas. It might be in writing, it might be in logistics, it might be in roadways, or it might be in waterways, whichever sector you belong to. This is the time where you start thinking, start applying your ideas. There is no more barriers in terms of applications. There is no more barriers in terms of stopping you from doing what you want to do, because the world, when it start again, when it will start fresh, India would be the first country which will have the maximum manpower, which will have the maximum skilled people and also the qualified people in the world. So we will never be short of people or of the knowledge. But what we would be short of is the research output. Every year, so when we produce those PhDs and doctorates, what our government really needs to put in force is that take those ideas, start implementing those ideas, make those doctorates, try to come up with the quality output and try to see the practical usage of it. So when we do this kind of activity, automatically our country becomes a superpower. Superpower through knowledge, superpower through implementation, and superpower through action. So this is the right time for all of us to think in that line and start moving forward. Hope this video was interesting, educative, and informative for you. Thank you for joining me today on the Economics Chit Chat. In the next session, we shall discuss something more interesting in terms of economics and the applications. Please do subscribe to my channel. Please do feel free to share your feedback, your thoughts with me. Until then, thank you, goodbye. Stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay educative. Thank you very much.